Take a deep breath. Let it go. Take another deep breath in and let it go. One more deep breath together. Breathe in and let it go. And so good morning again. For the folks who are visiting or new here, I'm Reverend Elisha Christopher. I'm the spiritual director of the Center for Spiritual Living here in Santa Cruz. I do use they and them pronouns, and my ancestors come to us from all over the world. The ones that we know immigrated to this land came through Austria, Holland, Ireland, and Scotland, and I do have ancestors indigenous to the Americas as well. So it's the last Sunday in December. Hope you all had a great Thanksgiving weekend. That's the one, whatever month it is, whenever we are, I don't know. It's the last week of the month. That's the important part. This month, our theme we've been exploring across the Centers for Spiritual Living has been loving the unlikable. And it's been a fun topic for us to explore, don't you think? We've looked at exploring the unlikable in ourselves. We've looked at exploring the unlikable in our history. And this week, the thing that's been up for me to think about is to love the unlikable along the path. All the twists and turns, all the things that happen along the way that aren't so great, that are part of the path, right? And I think that it's really easy for us to often think about the path that we are on is about getting somewhere. Or the spiritual path is about living in positivity and joy and in love all the time, which is, a challenge and an opportunity. I was at Harbin Hot Springs a couple weeks ago, and I was walking, and there's a trail that's just labeled spiritual path. And I was like, there, I've been looking for it my entire life. I found it. And I've been thinking about a lot just about the path that we walk and the little interesting opportunities that the universe throws in our way. And, there's this phrase from the Science of Mind textbook that's truly one of my favorites, and it's on page 290, paragraph 2, for those of you who have a Science of Mind textbook and want to find it later. And Ernest Holmes gives us this affirmation. And he says, tell yourself this every day. No mistakes have been made. None can be made, and none will be made. And then he says, go on and continue and tell yourself that there is one supreme intelligence that governs, guides, and guards absolutely everything. And it tells us what to do, when to do, and how to do it. Now, as one who has made plenty of mistakes in my life, it's one of my favorite lines from the text because it reminds us that everything we do wrong teaches us something, right? And when I think of all of the most successful people, and I'll put successful in quotes, but people that I think are successful, the ones that I look up to, almost all of them have told me that they failed upwards. Right? Mary Mann Morrissey says, I have 2 degrees. I have one in success and one in failure. And it's all of the failures. It's all the things that don't work out. It's all the things that we do wrong that I think often give us the greater lessons than the things we do right. Right? And if this whole journey called life, this whole thing that we are living through here on Earth School is about learning, is about growing the spirit, is about growing our consciousness, is about growing in love, then it's all of the wrong turns that lead us to the right places. Have you felt that in your own life? Ever at all? Right? And I do love GPS on the phone because it helps me get all the places. And whenever I make a wrong turn, I'm always reminded of how the universe works. Because you plug in the destination, right? And Google or Siri or whoever you're working with is saying, go straight, turn left, go this way. And then, say you have to get gas or go off the trail for some reason, and you go a different direction, and you're going a whole nother way, and it's still trying to guide you the other direction. You know, you're going off this way, and it's like, make the next left turn, and then you pass it, then make the next left turn. And then you pass it, make the next left turn. You know, and it just keeps telling you. And maybe sometimes you go so far off, it finally gives up that plan completely, and then sets up a whole new map that's still gonna get you where you're going. Right? And that a couple weekends ago, I was driving out to Harbin Hot Springs, and I missed the big turn to go that way. And I'm going this way, and I'm watching the thing try to recalibrate, and all of a sudden it says, turn right up ahead, 2-mile unpaved road. That's not the way I want to go. And, you know, I think that's also the thing, right? It's as we move along the path, certain choices are going to lead us to a different circuitous route sometimes. And Spirit will always guide you where you're trying to go. But it's up to us if we take the most direct route or the circuitous route. And that's really just a matter of if we're listening to the directions or not. Right? The God positioning system will continuously recalibrate and try to point you in the direction of your goal, of your dream, of your vision that you're being called. It will continuously recalibrate every single time without judgment. Remember, the phone's not going to be like, you're doing it wrong, you're doing it wrong, you're doing it wrong. It's just going to keep saying, make the next left turn. Just the next time you have an opportunity, make the turn. And it will just keep giving you that guidance, and you can listen to it or not. Right? And you could go on a whole wild adventure and just go random places with your destination plugged in and just listen to the phone try to redirect you the entire time, which is, I think, how many of us live our lives. We say what we want. We claim the direction. We know who it is we want to be. The universe is giving us the guidance, the directions, the signals all the time. And the question is, are we listening to the directions? Because if we were, I'm pretty sure the path would be a lot easier. Right? When I'm paying attention to the driving thing, and sometimes it senses there's something ahead, and it says, make this turn off the freeway. If I listen to it, it'll take me around the traffic. If I think I know better. Been there? Yeah. So this metaphor is quite useful, don't you think? And I think about that in relationship to this whole debacle we're moving through on planet Earth right now. Like, the guidance is there, right? Last week we talked about the need for all of us on planet Earth, all of us, to make that reconnection to the sacred. To that deep acknowledgement that all life is sacred, that the earth is alive, that the universe is conscious. And that when we live from that place, it's like having the GPS on, right? And we live in a world where many people have been told not to listen to that deep, still, small voice. Right? How many of us have been trained not to listen to our bodies, not to listen to our intuition, not to listen to ourselves, but to listen to the authority, whatever that might be? Right? I'm sure all of us got that message somewhere in our upbringing. Don't trust yourself. Don't trust that deep, deep intuition. And so that's the thing about loving the path, is that there's also, Spirit will move us, sometimes whether we like it or not. And I think that the difference between the GPS and God is that I do believe the voice of Spirit gets louder the longer we don't listen. Right? The longer you stay at that job, the longer you stay in that relationship, the longer you keep that presidency, the longer you The longer you do the thing that you know you're not supposed to be doing, and all signals and all signs start to come up and say, really, no, make a left turn, please. Let United States of America make a left turn, please. But we have to be listening. We have to wake up. We have to pay attention. And we also have to value the moments we get lost. We have to value the moments when perhaps we haven't been listening and the voice of Spirit gets loud enough to get our attention, right? Oftentimes we get sick when we're not listening to our bodies, when we're not giving ourselves the rest or the nutrition or the care that we need, the body gets sick. When the body of our collective consciousness, when the body of our nation is not listening to what it needs, it gets sick, right? And this winding road theme, I've been thinking about this community, and, most of you know, if you don't, we have a building and a property over on Felt Street that we had to close a little over a year ago that we're in the process of selling. And I tell you, talking about loving the unlikable, there were a lot of big decisions that had to be made. There were twists in this path of this community that none of us saw coming, and I tell you, nobody likes it, myself included. The people who made the decision hated making the decision. But at the same time, there's a catalyzing moment happening for this community, right? We were forced to throw away the box of a church building. We have been moved to be more in the downtown area. We've built more partnerships with Resource Center for Nonviolence, with the 418 Project. We're getting out into the world in new ways. We're reinventing who we are. We're finding a new direction as a community. And so something happened along the way that none of us liked, but it also was an invitation for us to reinvent ourselves, for us to take this new opportunity and see where it wants us to go. Right? And in the process, lots of old stories and patterns get broken. New stories get to emerge. Something else gets to rise up. Right? And perhaps if we had been listening to all sorts of signals along the way, we might have been able to make a different decision. So let a lesson be learned. We have to pay attention. When things come up, they require our response in our lives. Whether it's a church building, a nation, a relationship, your goals or your dreams, whatever it is, there's a winding road here that's for us. Always, what happens to us happens for us. Everything that comes along the way is an invitation. What we do with that invitation is where our work lies. Right? And then the invitation there is always to come into these things with expectancy, with anticipation of what could be, right? So much of the struggle that we experience is fighting the path. And sometimes the current takes us in directions and places we don't expect. And if we want to fight the current, we're going to use a whole lot of our energy. But if we're willing to be carried, if we're willing to let life guide us, if we're willing to let something more move us, we will be wildly surprised at the places where we land and the places where we end up. Right? It took me 7 years to get through a 3-year master's program to become a minister. I spent 4 of those years telling myself I was taking too long, I wasn't doing it right, I had something to fix, blah, 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 blah. And if I had graduated with the other members of my class, if I had been at a different place at a different time, I would never have landed here. And this is exactly where I was meant to be all along, right? And so I could have shamed and blamed and made myself wrong for taking so long, or realizing that the path was leading me somewhere that I was meant to be. And if I tried to hurry the path, if I tried to do it in any way that was different than how I was supposed to do it, I would have ended up somewhere else and may not have been as happy, may not have been as on purpose. I may have found a new path. It may have led me here. It may have led me somewhere else. But the thing that I know is I am where I am because of how I got here. Right? And in that affirmation I gave you from Ernest Holmes, the no mistakes have been made, he goes on to say, everything necessary to the most boundless experience of joy is mine now. Everything necessary to the most boundless experience of joy is mine now. So we go back. No mistakes have been made. None can be made or will be made. There is one supreme intelligence which governs, guides, and guards and tells me what to do, when to do, and how to do it. And everything necessary to the most complete and boundless experience of joy is mine now. And what that means is it's available now. It's here right now. Everything necessary for the journey that you are on is here, right now. And I say this often, I believe the conditions that we're living through on planet Earth and in the United States and in this democracy and in this moment, everything necessary for our awakening, everything necessary for love to wake up, everything necessary for our compassion, everything necessary for us to vision a new nation, a new way of being, new governance systems, all of it is right here in front of us. Everything necessary for a new way of being is being handed to us. And a lot of those gifts are being handed to us by the weirdest turns on this path. But that's how the universe works. There's an invitation here. We're being handed something. We're being asked to do something with it, to make friends with the path, to stop calling it wrong, and then to realize that there's something here for us, an activation, a joy, a possibility that's waiting in all of this. And it's our invitation to wake up, to stop making ourselves wrong for where we've been or how we've done it, and realize that each one of us is exactly where we need to be right now. Breathe it in and let it go. If it's comfortable, close your eyes and take another deep breath. And just breathe. And as we breathe together, I want to remind us, as always, that we are being breathed, that we are being lived, that indeed, greater than each of our individual selves, there is one self. There is one infinite being. There is one mind that is directing and guiding all things. There is one life that is living in all things. There is one love that is expressing in, through, and as all of existence. That life is sacred. It is spirit. It is God. It is energy. It is consciousness. It is the universe that is breathing these bodies. So as we remember right here and right now in this place that each one of us are tuned in and tapped into that infinite intelligence that it governs, guides, and guards all things, that the long and winding road is uniquely designed for each one of us to wake up, to learn, to grow, to evolve. And so in this moment, let us make friends with the path, with all of its ups and downs and twists and turns, with all the things that come at us from nowhere. We remember that something more is at work here, that there is an intelligence that is guiding all of this. And so let us be open to listen to that intelligence. Let us be open to listen to that guidance and to that wisdom, to remember that each one of us has that God positioning system, that ability to tap into that divine intelligence and allow ourselves to be led, to remember, as we chanted in earlier in the service, that the way knows the way. That our job is to trust the way, to feel the way. To remember that something more is always at work in the world, something more is at work in our lives. And that we are all being guided and directed towards something more, towards our awakening, towards our evolution, towards a higher possibility. And so let us remember that we are being led, and to allow ourselves to receive that guidance, to remember that any one of us, none of us have ever made a mistake. If we choose to learn, if we choose to grow, if we choose to become more because of those twists and turns, then we can say, indeed, there has been no mistake made. Because there is one greater intelligence guiding all things. And we recognize that everything that comes our way is an invitation, and that everything necessary for our most boundless experience of joy is available right now. And so for that, I'm grateful. Let us breathe in with the gratitude, giving thanks for our own unique paths, for all the ways that we've fallen upwards, and for the continuous lure of becoming that continues to call us forward. I'm grateful. And so surrender to the breath. Breathe in. Be breathed. Let go. Let God. And so it is. Thank you. Amen.